South Africa did not experience a formal, declared civil war like some countries, but it went through decades of intense internal conflict that many historians describe as a civil war-like struggle, especially between the apartheid state, liberation movements, rival political factions, and community militias. South Africa's conflict did not begin with guns. It began with laws. For centuries, colonial conquest, land dispossession, and racial hierarchy planted seeds of resentment. When apartheid became law in 1948, segregation was no longer just social, it became a weapon of state power. The ground was set for one of Africa's longest internal struggles. Apartheid divided South Africans by race, restricting movement, residence, education, and opportunity. Black South Africans became strangers in their own land. Peaceful resistance grew, but the state answered with repression. The conflict was no longer silent.
Organizations like the African National Congress, ANC, and Pan-Africanist Congress, PAC, moved from petitions to mass protests. The people were waking up. The streets became classrooms of rebellion. South Africa was entering dangerous territory. In 1960, police opened fire on unarmed protesters in Sharpeville, killing 69. The world was shocked. Inside South Africa, something snapped. Peaceful protest began to give way to armed struggle. After Sharpeville, the ANC created its armed wing, Umkhonto we Sizwe. Sabotage replaced silence. Bombs targeted infrastructure, not civilians, but the message was clear: the war for South Africa had begun. In 1962, Nelson Mandela was arrested. In 1964, he was sentenced to life in prison. The regime believed it had buried the rebellion. Instead, it created a global symbol of resistance. If you believe African history deserves to be told with truth, courage, and depth, then this channel is for you. Subscribe to the Chronicles of African Wars for untold stories of power, struggle, and survival. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to know this history, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Throughout the 1960s and 70s, South Africa became a battlefield without front lines. Intelligence agencies hunted activists. Torture, disappearances, and secret executions became tools of control. The war had gone unseen, but not unfelt. When students protested against forced Afrikaans education, police responded with bullets. Hundreds were killed. A generation was radicalized overnight. Young people flooded into exile to join armed movements. The conflict entered